Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So there's a war going on along the U.S. southern border with Mexico. It's a war over American sovereign territory. It's a war that's undermining American laws. It's a war about drugs, especially fentanyl. It's a war about sex trafficking. It's a war with Mexican cartels. It's also a war against the many peaceful towns and cities along the border. And it's a war against working folks and the economy. But you wouldn't know there's a war going on based on Joe Biden's trip to El Paso, Texas, or his Mexico City meeting with Mexico's President Obrador and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. In order to win a war, you have to fight. But Biden won't fight. In fact, none of them want to fight. Take it from the president himself. Here he is in Mexico City yesterday.
This has been the greatest migration in human history around the world, as well as in this hemisphere. Trying to make it easier for people to get here, opening up the capacity to get here.
Really, making it easier, opening the capacity. All right, well, the White House released what they're calling a Declaration of North America. This is at the conclusion of the 10th North American Leaders Summit. They've created 6 pillars, allegedly to maintain regional security. Now, here are the orders of these pillars. First pillar, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Second pillar, climate change and environment. Third pillar, competitiveness. And then, maybe the fourth pillar, migration and development. Migration, fourth. But wait a minute. Even at fourth place, migration development doesn't mean what you might hope it means. They're talking about welcoming record numbers of migrants and refugees. They're talking about promoting migrant and refugee integration. They're talking about protection for them, more asylum capacity, expanding and promoting regular pathways, and then collaborating to counter xenophobia and discrimination. What? You think I'm making this stuff up? I'm not. I'm reading this from the White House release. This is the official stuff. Quote, now more than ever, we need to identify and address the root causes of irregular migration and forced displacement. Really? Irregular migration. It's got to be a typo, right? What they mean is illegal migration. And the root cause of illegal migration is a failure to secure our American border. That's the root cause. Now, by the way, none of this means that Americans should be against legal immigration or merit-based immigration or speaking English and knowing a little bit about American history immigration or people coming here who can add value to our businesses, our workplaces, and our economy. We need much more of that, legal migration. But that would take congressional action, and that never seems to get done. But what's going down the border is strictly illegal. It is a war. But the Bidens won't fight the war. Of course, the numbers are well known. In 2020, Donald Trump's last year in office, illegal border encounters were running less than 40,000 this time of the year. Next year, 2021, President Biden numbers running about 175,000. And last year, the Biden monthlies were running around 230,000. In 2021, last year, there were 1.7 million encounters. In 2022, year just ended, 2.4 million. We are likely headed for over 3 million, almost without question this year in 2023. That's because Mr. Biden doesn't have a policy. Well, wait a minute. He does have a policy. It's an open border policy. It's an asylum and amnesty policy. There's no drug policy. There's no sex trafficking policy. There's no waging war against Mexican cartels policy. He is more concerned about diversity, equity, and inclusion, or climate change. Yep, that's a head scratcher, but it's true. Hat tip to columnist Byron York, our pal, for saying Mr. Biden's trip to the U.S.-Mexican border has actually made things worse. Now, his minions cleaned up El Paso for 20 minutes. He did visit briefly with some border agents. And then his DHS secretary, Mayorkas, announced a new app called CBP One for illegal border crossers to make it easier. Now, the deal here is they'll use the app to make an appointment to enter the U.S. at some port of entry, so then border officials will let them in and then shepherd them someplace else around the U.S. So it's kind of like making a reservation at a good restaurant, presumably one with a gas burner stove kitchen. Once you're in legally through this new app, you're in legally. I'm not making this up. I wish I were. Now, in just a moment, we're going to talk to Senator Marsha Blackburn about all this. She just got back yesterday from the border and had a completely different experience than Mr. Biden. But I want to repeat my own personal view. Much of the great success of this great country of ours can be traced to the role of immigrants, legal immigrants, Statue of Liberty type Ellis Island immigrants who came here at enormous cost but participated in our government's legal process and then literally went on to make America great. That's wonderful. That's what we should strive for, and we can do that again. We ought to do that again. But what's going on in the war in our southern border has nothing to do with the great tradition of American immigration. Wars are lawless, destructive, inhumane. Now, this war could be won, for example. Let's keep some sort of Title 42 in place for public health reasons. Revert back to remain in Mexico. Finish the wall. Properly fund the various border control and policing resources necessary to guard America and protect us. But that is not what the Bidens are doing, and they have no intention of doing it. Theirs is catch and release. It should be catch and deport. Theirs is more illegal border crossings, and it should be vastly less. Theirs is accommodation, but it should be stop the flow. And this so-called Declaration of North America that puts diversity, equity, and inclusion first and climate change second, it ought to be ripped up and thrown into the nearest trash can as fast as possible, along with Biden's policy. All right? That's my riff.